I'm sitting inside a Pick and Save parking lot just going through it right now, like, and I don't, like, I just feel like I'm at the point of my life where I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I'm genuinely confused and don't know what I'm doing. Like, I feel like I'm doing everything wrong. Like I got a job, but I just can't keep money. Like, that shit is so stressful. And it's like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm spending my money on. Like, I have poor money management, and it pisses me off. And it's just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with myself. Like, I just can't get this shit right. And it's getting to the point to where it's pissing my boyfriend off. And it's like, I don't want to be a fucking leech. I don't want to just be around taking. Like, this shit is so unfair because I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, I literally had to step outside and just cry because it's like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm sitting here playing. I'm wasting my time. I'm not doing shit with myself. I'm 23 years old and ain't got shit. I got a car from my mama that I got a car, and it's only a year left off on the payments, and it's like I'm struggling to fucking keep up with the shit. I get paid 4 times a week. There should be no fucking way that I can't pay the fucking car note on time. Like, the car note is due every 2 weeks. I get paid 4 times a month. I get paid every week. There should be no way I'm struggling to fucking pay $200 every 2 weeks. Like, I have a good ass job. I work at Amazon. Like, I make good money. But it's just like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm spending my money on. Like, every paycheck is just so short because I just so used to taking out. Like, I need another side hustle to where I don't have to take out of my check. Like, I'm trying to do the hair shit, but ain't nobody really fucking with me down to the hair shit because I'm in a hating ass city that only support popular people with a bigger fan base. Like, I tried the hair shit. It's just, I get discouraged every time. I am still a beginner, but how am I supposed to perfect my craft if nobody comes to me? Like, I know how to do wigs. I know how to do braids. Like, I need another side hustle so that I don't take out my check. And I know this is nobody else's problem. Like, this is a problem that I gotta get together. But it's just like, I'm so fucking confused and lost on what the fuck I'm doing with my life. Because I'm not doing shit. Like, I just been having, like, for the past 2 weeks, I just been having breakdown after breakdown after breakdown because I just feel like I'm not doing shit with my life. I feel like I'm not doing shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I need some type of financial support or something because, man, it's hard. It's hard. Like, I don't know how the fuck am I still struggling with a job. Like, and it just be little shit. It be little shit. Like, or sometimes, like, my boyfriend has some money just sent to my Cash App, and I use overdraft so that I won't have to take out my check, so I can,
So I'm gonna actually go in 2 different directions in this video. I'm just trying to make sure that I hit what I need to hit. Okay, so first I want to say I can understand her to a certain extent, right? I actually talk about this a lot. In our community, we weren't taught growing up how to save, money, where to put your money, how to invest, or even how to properly manage a paycheck. We weren't taught those things because, to be honest with you, most people around us in our community didn't have money. We come from the generation where as kids, we survived off government assistance. Let's keep it 100. Things like food stamps, Section 8, WIC, and people in our families barely had debit cards. So now that we're older, we have to learn these things just like you would have to learn anything. That's what we had to go through, right? We had to learn it. It takes time, right? But on the other hand, it's just as important to know that it is your responsibility as an adult to learn these things as you get older, right? And this is where I think we have to stop making excuses. I have to keep it 100, because nobody is coming to save you from your own financial decisions. That's not how life works. There are classes you could take to learn how to manage your money nowadays. You know that, right? Find some mentors or people who you see have their stuff together around you. You can even look on YouTube nowadays and follow a tutorial teaching you what to do with each paycheck you get. You can do things like that. But I believe the real problem at this point is that when most people get money in their hands, they don't want to listen to anyone who has anything to tell them about their own money. Let's just keep it 100. I know people straight up who have said, hey, this is my money. Who you try to help, you do what you do with yours and I do what I do with mine. And guess what? A month later, they was asking me to help them pay their light bill. See, you can't tell everybody to mind their own business when you have money, and then make your business everybody else's problem when your money is gone. That's not accountability. That's not how accountability works, and I'm not saying that to attack this young lady. It's not just about her, because I literally actually appreciate the fact that she admitted she has a problem, right? The first step to fixing something is admitting that something needs to be fixed, but admitting it and changing it are two different things, and this is where a lot of people get stuck. They know the problem, like she know the problem. They talk about the problem. That's what she did. They post about the problem. That's what she did. They make TikToks about the problem. That's what she did. But they don't change the behavior causing the problem. That's what we need to help. And that's the part I want people to hear. Because you can make 6 figures and still be broke. Seen it a lot. 200,000 a year and still have nothing. I seen it a lot. You can have a great salary, nice clothes, a nice car, vacations, restaurants every weekend, and still be one emergency away from asking somebody else for money or to help pay your bills. I didn't seen it. Your income does not automatically make you financially responsible. Your habits do. And some people don't have an income problem. They have a discipline problem. And that is a conversation people don't want to have, because a lot of people are not disciplined. Because everybody wants to talk about how much money they make. I make bread, I got money, but nobody wants to talk about where the money went. So let me ask you something. If you make good money and you're always broke, where is the money going? Simple question. Seriously. Pull up your bank statement. Let's check it out. Look at your subscriptions. We all got a lot of them. Look at your food in your refrigerator. Look at your shopping list and your shopping receipts. Look at your entertainment. Look at those little purchases that you tell yourself, it don't matter when you go to the liquor store, grocery store, stuff like that. Because $10 doesn't feel like anything when you spend it at once, but spend $10, $20, $30, $50 over and 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 over again. And it becomes thousands of dollars. And then you get to the end of the month saying, dang, I don't know where my money went. What happened? Where did all that money go? You know where that money went. You just never sat down long enough to look at it. And I think this is also where our generation have to Stop confusing wanting something with needing something. That's important. Just because you can afford it at the moment, you can afford something today doesn't mean you should buy it today. That is financial maturity when you could not buy it, right? Sometimes the richest thing you can say is, no, I'm good. I don't need that. Because what good is making money if you can't keep any of it? And I'm going to tell you something else that, may not make you feel good, but I got to say it. Stop asking people for help when you refuse to listen when they tried to help you before the crisis. Whew, I need to tell that to a lot of people who come to me. If somebody has already told you, you need to budget, you need to save, you need to stop spending everything, and you told them, this is my money, this is my bread. Okay, it is your money. But when that money is gone, don't suddenly make your emergency my responsibility. That's the truth, the hard truth. But sometimes people need to hear the hard truth instead of another person telling them everything is going to be okay. Let's keep it real. The Bible says in Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. That means planning matters. Discipline matters. Preparation matters. In Proverbs 22:7 says, the borrower is slave to the lender. Ooh, we have to understand that money isn't just about spending. Go read that verse. Money gives you options. Money gives you breathing room. Money gives you the ability to handle an emergency without calling somebody else. Right? And if God blesses you with more, you have a responsibility to manage what he gives you. Luke 16:10 says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. God knows how much you can handle. So maybe before we start asking God for more money, we should ask God to give us the wisdom to manage the money we already have. Because what are you going to do with $100,000 if you can't manage 5,000, 2,500, 1,000? What are you going to do with $1 million if every time money hits your account, you feel like you have to spend every dollar? More money does not fix bad habits. It can actually make bad habits more expensive. And that's why I believe financial education is so important, especially for people who grew up without it. I needed it. I grew up without it. I understand where she's coming from because I understand what it's like to grow up without having all the tools and all the money in the world that other people may have. But once you become an adult, you have to say, okay, I didn't learn it growing up, but I'm going to learn it now. That's growth. You can't keep blaming your childhood forever. At some point, you have to become the teacher that you needed when you were younger. You know what I'm saying? And instead of doing a video that may take you an hour to sit here and do complaining, use that time to put on a video on how to gain money management skills. So the next time that paycheck comes around, you make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? That's the bigger problem. So many people, want to complain, cry, and let all their problems out on TikTok, doing TikTok videos and things like that. But wouldn't you want to stay away from someone who's giving you the wrong information and putting out information off of feelings? You can't have it both ways. If you want people to listen when you're hurting, you have to be willing to listen when somebody is trying to prevent you from hurting. That's the thing that confused me about this TikTok stuff. That's called accountability. And I think we are definitely living in a very soft society where everybody wants encouragement, but nobody wants to hear the truth. Nobody wants correction. You know, everybody wants somebody to tell them they're doing great. But sometimes somebody needs to tell you, no, you're wrong. You know, change what you're doing. And that doesn't mean I hate you. That means I care enough to tell you the truth. So to this young lady, man, you know, I understand where you coming from. I come from the same world you come from. I really do. But now that you know the problem, fix it. You know, track your money. You know, learn how money works. You know, find somebody financially responsible and learn from them. You know, stop spending just because you have it. You know, start saving before you spend it. You know, start thinking about tomorrow instead of just thinking about today. And most importantly, ask God for wisdom. Because like it says in James 1:5, anyone lacks wisdom, let them ask God, who gives generously. You know, so don't just pray for more money. That ain't the prayer you should have right now. Pray for the wisdom, discipline, and self-control to manage what God already put in your hands. You know, because being broke, you know, while making good money is not a flex. You know, making good money is only half the battle. Trust me. Keeping it, growing it, and using it wisely is where the real work begins. So I just pray for everyone, man. Learn the lesson. Take accountability. Get disciplined. You know, we all need it. You know, and stop letting your paycheck disappear before you ever understand where it went. You know, this is right here one of the main reasons why I started doing these videos from a godly perspective. Because I understand exactly where this young lady is coming from. But I want to give her a perspective that she may not hear from anyone else. I'm going to leave it there. It's your boy, Paul P. Thanks for watching. Deuces.